Welcome to episode 1 of our Versus series. This series will be all about this versus that, from what should be obvious to that which perhaps you finally realize you need in your life. Decisions. Seems to be the main problem with humanity itself, whether it's the past, present, or future. When will we ever learn to really take it easy, not just to say it, but to actually do it? So many benefits to taking it easy as possible. Our topic for this episode is stress versus tranquility. What a way to open up this educational series for both teenagers and adults alike. It's always a great idea to train yourself while you're still young. I wish I had a life coach growing up. Would have made things a lot easier. Some things you have to find out the hard way, the stressful way, or by yourself, the peaceful way. Lots of melancholy with lots of people growing up without good mentors, good parents, good friends, good relatives, good colleagues at work. Everybody seems to be out for themselves. Sad world, but without further ado, let's go ahead and move on, shall we? That's right. All of this has to do with what we're discussing today. The power of positivity. Either you're going to live a negative life or a positive life, a stressful life or a peaceful life. If you're there saying, yeah, right, you've already failed. And that's precisely why you're so grumpy and miserable. Because you're denying yourself that opportunity over and over again with that negative attitude. Or you might be attacking me because you don't want to hear it. Then you're welcome to go listen to somebody else. But I know that you're listening right now, even if you do despise me, because you know that you need help. And it's okay, it's perfectly fine to ask for help. If not from me, then from somebody else, please. So let's go ahead and get right into it, shall we? All right. This is a really big pet peeve of mine. How stress affects the body. Your brain, difficulty concentrating, anxiety. Most people, they wonder where their anxiety comes from. Well, take a look at your lifestyle. What are you being exposed to every day? Even if it's a soap opera on television or a violent movie on Netflix. I'm talking about the violent movies that you can't laugh at. That's how much violence is on there. You'd be surprised what you can find on Netflix. I'm talking about mutilation, stabbing each other. I mean, all kinds of things. Decapitation, sexual assault. It's all on there. There's barely anything pleasant to watch on Netflix, so you have to have a very mature mind. But what does that content do to you over time? What does it do to you? Think about what it does to your brain. That could be the source of your anxiety, depression, irritability, mood, or mind fog. You're not paying attention to streams like this. Highly productive. Welcoming you to join in and add your own comments. Or to talk about productive, positive things with others. I'm not saying go watch Disney movies, because that also has violence. Or to not watch violent movies. I'm just saying maybe you might want to limit that exposure. Or your vocabulary. If you're walking around saying F this and F that, and you're an S and a B or whatever, all these curse words constantly, that's your source of anxiety. And that's why you rush to the alcohol, the cigarettes, whatever your addiction may be. There's always a cause, always a source for negative behavior, negative thoughts, and negative feelings. Cardiovascular consequences. Higher cholesterol. Maybe your doctor says your cholesterol is high. It could be from that stress that you're just ignoring. High blood pressure, increased risk of heart attack and stroke. All those people who are proud to be angry, they think they're so cool by being angry all the time, yelling at the world. those guys are going to end up with the heart attacks and most likely, or early death. Sorry to be the one to break it down to you. You're only shortening your lifespan drastically. Joints and muscles, increased inflammation. Yeah, it adds to the obesity epidemic. It's not just food, people. Stress will make you gain weight. It's called inflammation. It's not about the fat cells we're talking about. Your body literally starts to inflame itself, panicking. All the systems are being affected negatively. Every single human system. We have quite a few. Aches and pains, muscle tightness. Yeah, stiff. It's just so stiff that you don't even feel like doing anything. Depression will come out of this. Not just anxiety. Immune system, decreased immune function, lowered immune defenses, increased risk of becoming ill. That's why people who are like, oh, I'm coming down with the flu or a cold, it's because they're living stressful lives. They have a poor diet, which is nutrition, barely any exercise, and they're always stressing all the time. Or they're being overworked. Too much exertion. Your body doesn't have enough time to recover. And then they stay up late at night, which I already did a live stream about that. Getting a good night's sleep. And so your body will never have a chance to recover, especially with stress. Increase in recovery time. That's that. I think they meant. I don't think that was written right. Skin, hair loss. Oh, I get it. Yeah, you're being ill for too long. Yeah, they kind of badly worded that, but they should probably say prolonged recovery time. All right, so skin, hair loss. Ever wonder why people are going bald? It's not because they wear a hat all the time and literally killing their hair follicles with heat exposure and humidity. Ever thought about that? For all those guys who like wearing hats out there? Yeah, no, it's not normal to be bald at age 30. I have a head full of hair. I have a ponytail. I have long hair. Well-kept hair. Naturally. I don't have any receding hairline, nothing. Because I choose to live a peaceful life. Yes, stress will make you lose all your hair. Or half of it. And it's not normal. You're doing it to yourself, or you're allowing it to happen to yourself. Or those you love. We'll get into it. Dull, brittle hair. Yeah, when your hair, maybe it's not falling out, but it's thinning, and then it will eventually fall out. That's the process of it falling out. At first it gets really thin and brittle. Brittle nails, dry skin, acne, delayed tissue repair. That's horrible. That's very bad. Now your gut, your stomach, including intestines, your full digestive system, a bad nutrient absorption, diarrhea, constipation, indigestion, bloating and pain and discomfort. People go rush to the over-the-counter drugs, and it's like, what are you doing? You're just suppressing the problem, the symptoms, not the problem. You're not attacking the main culprit. Stress will affect. You ever try to eat lunch on the run? Yeah, that's not going to digest very well. And unfortunately, people choose to live that way. When you're eating, you should be at peace, like nice and like. Oh, people are gonna say, "Yeah, right." That's your problem. You're not gonna do it, are you? And then a lot of people, what's the number one excuse for not doing enough exercise? I don't have the time. Oh, but you have the time to go Netflix and chill, or go do other things. Go to the bar and drink alcohol, killing yourself slowly. You got a lot of time for that, don't you? Or going hang out with the friends. No, you need to make time for yourself to address your own health and fitness. Then you can go spend time with others. Or all do it together. But bad influence, this is not what you need if you're living a stressful life. The last thing you need is more stressed people adding to the pile. Reproductive system. Decreased hormone production, decrease in libido. Increase in, that's your desire to want to have sex, by the way. That's why we end up with sexless marriages out there. Oh my goodness. That means you're a highly stressful relationship, unfulfilling, miserable. And these are the people acting all cool like nothing's happening. No, I know who you are out there. I can tell. Increase in PMS symptoms for women. You definitely don't want that. Menstruation is supposed to be an okay thing, okay. You're menstruating. That's a natural thing. But when your body starts reacting negatively to external factors, such as stress being the number one killer, now all your systems are out of whack. And there will be great consequences. And guess what? Menopause is going to come so early in your life. Even stress while you're pregnant, if you want to have a child, that is people say, oh, avoid alcohol and drugs while you're pregnant. No, I think stress needs to be number one on that list. Above and not above everything else, but number one priority overall. Yeah, besides all the obvious things. So yeah, that's a start to looking at the consequences of living a stressful life. So let's get a look into even deeper about what stress does to the body, long term. Okay. Tension, headaches, and migraines. Mental health problems. Oh, this is a big one. There's a lot of people who come online to vent their anger all the time. And I'm like, man, you must have a stressful life. All the trolls and negative people. Those people have mental issues, and they act like they're proud of it, but all they're doing is coping with their misery and suffering. I can tell, because they're actually dedicated to being negative. They have mental health issues. I don't know which kinds, but I can take guesses. Serious heart problems, trouble breathing, hyperventilating, panic attacks. People rush to the doctor. Doctor, fix me. You kind of did this to yourself. Doctors can only do so much. Skin and hair. Okay, we went over that. Increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Ever wonder what? Yes, stress can cause type 2 diabetes. That doesn't sound fun. Fertility problems, obviously. Muscles tense up. Problems between the sheets. Well, yeah. we went over that. Let's see. Yeah, erectile dysfunction for men. There's your source. All the ones who want to be macho and have sex and roll over and go to sleep. You're adding to an unnatural sex life right there. And it's highly disrespectful to your partner. So you will end up with erectile dysfunction in the future. It's just a matter of time. I mean, there's even men having erectile dysfunction in their mid to late 20s. How sad is that? You know how badly you have to beat your body down? Your mind, body, and spirit, your emotions, in order to reach such a tragic level of toxicity to where your body just can't even function anymore. I find that very sad. So this has everything to do with relationships, because if your partner has bad habits like these, always stressful, causing you stress, that's the worst. Causing both of you guys stress. And all those people you guys know stress. Breathing quickens to send more oxygen around the body. Heart beats harder. Okay. Feeling worried, nervous, or unable to switch off. Yeah. Can't go to sleep. Have insomnia. Most likely you've been exposed to way too much stress. Better get that under control. The consequences are mighty heavy. So those people are like, yeah, whatever. Keep piling it on. It's just that's gonna come for you so hard. It's gonna be, and then now it's gonna be an avalanche because you didn't want to deal with it while you had the chance. Decisions, and neglect. I always say to those I coach and to everyone else I meet, the best thing you can do for your own sake is to do your absolute best. No excuses, to reduce and eventually eliminate all forms of negativity. Do your absolute best to eliminate all forms of negativity, including stress, which is number one on the list. There's all types and forms of stress. Comes from every angle. There you go. The sleep problems I mentioned. Chest pain, back pain. Yeah, a lot of people complain about their back. It could be from stress. Oh, how does that work? One's physical, one's emotional. You know how many nerves you have throughout your body? You ever heard of motor neurons? I mean, it's all connected. Your body is one electric field. So how you feel is going to have a really big impact, either positively on your body or negatively. It sounds easy. It sounds just beginner logical, right? Beginner logic. But you'd be surprised how many people ignore the stress factor. They think, oh, what's wrong with me? Is this genetic? Is it because of the food I'm consuming? I don't know. It could be. if it's void of any nutrition. But have you looked at how stressful your life is? You know, it's like a person complaining that my computer won't turn on. Did you plug it in? Oh my goodness, I didn't. You might want to start with the basics. Upset stomach, you know, yes, they can cause gastroesophageal reflux disorder. Yeah, GERD, absolutely. Indigestion. And you think, oh, it's my stomach. No, 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 no. Because when you're feeling any source of negative emotions, energy in motion, negative energy, you're going to get all types. The first area is going to be your stomach, besides your mind. But then the rest of the body. It's usually down the meridian, down the central of the human body. You have your mind, your heart, your stomach, your reproductive organs. So that's going to be the mainly effect. And then the rest of the body is going to be affected. So, always intention. That's horrible. That's just absolutely horrible. I mean, stress, that's why I always say stress is a killer. You'll hear me throughout, I don't know how many streams mention that. And I always say as a farewell, almost always, to don't stress. Tranquility is more than being calm. It's a complete state of bliss where your mind has no worries or negative thoughts. And your body is fully relaxed with no anxiety, nervousness, or irritabilities of any kind, including stress. So if you're saying, yeah, right to this, that's because you haven't even tried to work on it. I'll explain. Let's take a look at this quote from Marcus Aurelius. It is in your power to withdraw yourself whenever you desire perfect, I love that word, tranquility within consists on the good ordering of the mind, the realm of your own. So it's a fancy way of saying that mind over body, but I always take it a step further. Emotions over mind over body. You control your emotions, you can control your mind. You control your mind, you control your body. But you can't control your body and mind without controlling your emotions first. Okay? So, unfortunately, far too many people are quickly aging these days, more now than ever, even though we have so many ways to reduce every type of stress imaginable. The problem is laziness and feeling a lack of self-worth. They don't want to help themselves. They're the quiet ones. They're the ones who insist on living stressful lives. Let's take a look at Gandhi's quote here. Keep your thoughts positive. Love that word. Because your thoughts become your words. Absolutely. Keep your words positive because your words become your behavior. Absolutely. Keep your behaviors positive because your behaviors become your habits. Yeah, there's your lifestyle. Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People don't want to help themselves or ask for help. They lack self-worth. They don't see value for their own life. They see their life has no value, no reason to help themselves. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. Yeah, every mortal is responsible for their own destiny. So don't complain, don't whine. You're the one not making the right decisions. Or somebody in your life, or more than one, is negatively influencing you or keeping you, holding you back, keeping you down. You gotta fix these things. Liberty and independence, strength, mind over matter. All this is up to you. But you can't be lazy. You can't just sit there because the number one lazy reaction is, yeah, whatever. You don't want to marry somebody like that. You don't want to date somebody like that. Anybody who's like, yeah, whatever, to anything like this, stay away from. I'm not talking about a 10-foot pole. I'm talking about like completely permanently stay away from them. Because they're going to act like leeches and just want to suck the life out of you. Not in a good way. You got to protect yourself from these losers because they choose to be a loser. When they react like, yeah, whatever. Everything's whatever. Yeah, right. Yeah, like that can happen. Oh, You need to come back down to reality. I'm living that reality. I'm trying to share it with you. Looks like you don't want to succeed in life. So yeah, they go down the old man, old woman path. I see so many people who are aging so quickly due to highly stressful lives. It's like, you don't look 30, 40, 50, 60. Like, even, I mean, I've seen examples of 60-year-olds who look very young for their age, but that's just the exception. For the most part, I mean, people talking about increased life expectancy, I'm actually starting to see the opposite, mainly due to stressed out people. In my book, in 1 hour video course, which I call my movie, I always mention that a couple needs to put each other first, above everyone else, anything and everything going on in their lives. However, that doesn't mean sacrificing yourself, feeling forced to endure stress. Okay, so relationships should not be about sacrificing yourself or even compromising. You get what you want out of the relationship because if the other person loves you, they will do that for you. And you'll do whatever they want for them. It should be something reasonable, right? And cause no harm. So, when it comes to meditation, reducing stress, building focus, lowering blood pressure, helping you to sleep, decreasing depression, yes and no. You don't have to sit like this. I personally don't meditate in the traditional way by sitting down cross-legged, yogi style. I do what I call active meditation by always staying focused on being productive, positive, and helpful to those who seek my help. That's the way I meditate in life. It's kind of like a code to live by as an honorable person doing noble things. So, that's my form of meditation because metta, so it's of the mind, but it's also of the emotions. So, what are you here for? How are you productive to the rest of the world? Or are you just adding to the chaos, the stress that already exists, and you're making it worse, a bad situation worse? You're either here to help by being alive and grateful for who you are and what you have, because you're not dead yet. Or you're going to whine and complain about life and start feuds with others just because you're feeling miserable and just adding to the fire. Decisions. All right. Meditation it's an option. But as I said, I have a different form of meditating. I don't do this, but I have done this in the past, but it doesn't have to be done. You don't have to sit down cross-legged with everything quiet. Just have control over your mind and emotions. And if you have trouble doing this, then sure, go ahead and find a quiet spot and sit down. And that's kind of novice level, though. I don't care how many gurus are still meditating out in the mountains. I think that's a big waste of time. You don't have to find a quiet space, in my humble opinion. Because what is meditation supposed to produce? Positive results, right? Well, just change the way you think, change the way you feel. Yes, it can be done. If the moment you think and feel that it can't be done, you've already failed. End of story. Nothing else to explain. You choose to be a loser. Goodbye, loser. Don't waste my time, right? Meditation is linked with feeling less stressed as well as actually lowering the stress hormone cortisol. Absolutely. Go study about cortisol, the stress hormone. In studies, students who were trained in mindfulness meditation achieve better grades. Yeah, it's great for kids. That's why, we'll get into it. Meditation can result in brain changes that protect against mental health conditions. Meditation helps us to process emotions. There you go. Even when we're not actively meditating. Exactly. See, that's I just said active meditation. I'm so glad that it's actually on this list. Meditation keeps the elderly feeling less lonely and reduce genes linked to inflammation. Well, no, they need these. You can't just abandon them, tossing them to the elderly into those care homes where they get treated most likely in the most horrific ways. No, it's not just a stereotype. I mean, it's for the most part true. Those home care facilities. Very sad. Most of the elderly just end up all alone, and they're just wondering what life was all about. Hope you still have your soulmate if you even bother to develop having one. What a shame. Meditation is linked with decreased cigarette, alcohol. Yeah, see, substance abuse. Those living stressful lives, that's the reason why you're running to it. That poison, that toxin. We experience less anxiety as meditation loosens connections to particular neural pathways. Right. That's what I said. The nervous system's all throughout the whole body. Like a huge tree with so many branches. Meditation is linked to more creativity and new ideas. Yeah. How do you think I'm able to come up with shows like these and perform them pretty much flawlessly, in my humble opinion, and always help people offline and online at will, at any time, and always be prepared and function to the highest of my mental and emotional capabilities? Always positive, always giving. It's not because I meditate, it's because I choose to be this way. I believe in being this way. That it's the only path in life that humans are meant to follow. Wisdom, intelligence, gratitude, selflessness. Rapid memory recall improves, absolutely, with daily meditation. And always eat an apple a day. One piece of fruit, a good piece of fruit every day. You got to get your vitamins. That brain fog, it's a killer. Some even claim that by meditating daily, you can reverse the aging process. Why not? And so does sex. You have to have the best sex possible. I'm not talking about just bodies. I'm talking about that soul connection. You'll feel that you're reversing the aging process with that right there. When two bodies become one. That's why it's the 10th chapter in my movie, Becoming One. And I write about it in my book. Because becoming one, many people don't understand. They're like, oh yeah, right, how does that happen? That's ignorance right there. That's weakness. That's a waste of life, that type of thinking. All right, let's go ahead and move on, shall we? Okay, so martial arts. Highly recommend it. As a martial artist with 30 years experience myself, I know when to attack negative people in order to put them in their place, which I pretty much enjoy doing sometimes. But I also know how to move on and shift my focus back to doing good things for others as well as for myself. So yeah, you got to be a warrior in this life. Don't be afraid to put losers in their place. Teach them a lesson. Maybe they'll snap out of it. And if they don't, who cares? It's not your problem anymore. At least you tried. You got to fight fire with fire. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be concerned with your image, how it's going to make you look. Screw the image. Because you have to let it out. If they make you feel a certain way, you retaliate. Because that's self-defense, verbally. Now, don't lose control over it. You don't want to do that, but if you do, it doesn't matter. Even if you do lose control. Just get back to normal. Get back to what you were doing in the first place. Which is hopefully being a better person. Being a strong person. That's all that matters. You know, you shouldn't be worrying in this life about this and that. Just take care of business. Increase mobility and flexibility. We're talking about the physical. Develop strength and power. Stability and coordination. You guys can pause that if you want. Develop concentration and focus. Improved reflexes. Weight loss. Yeah, absolutely. Improve cardiovascular health. There you go. That'll help you with your stress. Because, I mean, your arteries, your veins. My goodness. And then the diet, constricting those. You know, so weight loss, yeah, it's going to help you, but you also have to eat healthy. And you have to eliminate stress from your life. So you got to train yourself to be a warrior. Martial arts is by far the greatest way to do so. If you're paying attention, it'll work for you. So martial arts is not about fighting physically, the physical aspect. It's mainly about developing mental and emotional strength, eventually mastering yourself by becoming wise, intelligent, knowledgeable, in order to help and defend yourself and others. Martial arts is not just about that cage fighting look is the immature loser's cage. Those are the life wasters. They build great bodies and then they destroy them. Like you build a castle and now you want to just blow it up. Like a little kid, right? A little kid builds a castle and then, oh, let's destroy it. That's fine because he's a kid. But adults acting immature like that, destructive, that's not teaching you any good lessons. And what? You want to break your own bones and break somebody else's bones for what? That's like the world of stress right there. Who wants to go through that? I mean, like eye injuries, brain injuries, organ injuries. That's just, wow. It's just so stupid. But sadly, martial arts, like anything, it can be abused. Like owning a firearm. There's always going to be those who commit evil acts with those, aren't there? Unfortunately, there are tons of people who study martial arts just to learn how to fight and foolishly claim that their martial art is the best one. That's the other part. There is no best martial art. Because all scenarios point to, well, mine's better than yours. Let's fight each other. That's the same as somebody walking up to you and saying, I want to debate you on this. No, you just want to hear yourself talk because you know I'm not going to agree with anything that comes out of your mouth. That's your problem, not mine. I'm not going to be the one debating you. That's what losers do. We can discuss what you want to talk about peacefully with the right attitude and perhaps learn something from each other. But other than that, out of my sight, you go. It's a total waste of life and time. The truth is, all martial arts are only beneficial to those who are against senseless violence. It increases self-confidence. There you go. It's a shame because mixed martial artists out there, I mean, it's been going on for too long. They're like, oh, traditional martial arts are worthless. It's like, how do you think mixed martial arts came about, Hotshot? It's because thanks to those traditional martial arts that you have another martial art to look at. If you can call it a martial art. You're perhaps the Swiss Army knife of everything. But everybody's going to always want their own machete or their own axe or their own other cutting. Like you don't. Not everybody wants a Swiss Army knife. Is it okay to have one? Sure. But they always argue grappling over striking. That's, it's funny because, they even have fights where one of the fighters gets down on the ground and starts dragging his butt across the ring. Like a dog, right? And then trying to bait the other guy into getting into grappling because he doesn't want to do the striking game. That to me is like a shame to martial arts. Besides the whole event itself. Unfortunately, people worship people like Conor McGregor and all these other fighters. That's not martial arts. That's a disgrace. And they're participating in it. You don't win anything. He's not the best in anything. And look at his life. Supposedly he's on drugs from what many are saying. That's a stressful life. Nobody does drugs unless they're highly stressed. And he's got all that money, all that attention, all that fame. It always comes back down to things like this. Decisions. As covered in my discussing versus debating stream, which I just had, arguing is a surefire way to drastically cut your lifespan due to adding tons of unnecessary stress into your life, while also causing life-damaging stress to others involved. So it's kind of really selfish, isn't it? I'm just going to explode right here, right now, and those around me are just going to have to absorb it. It's like collateral damage from an explosion. You got to be thoughtful about other people involved, man. Arguing can cause stress because it activates the part of the brain that releases higher levels of cortisol, as we saw in the chart before. Arguments can also cause anxiety. We saw that. But we're talking about arguments now, not the word stress. You see, stress and arguments are one and the same. So why argue? Why not just have discussions, as I mentioned in my stream? And worry about future fights leading to significant stress. See? The word argument and stress in the same sentence. How perfect is that? Family conflict can cause stress even if there is no lack of love between members, but rather a lack of comfort in dealing with conflict. Precisely. So they can't just peacefully, amicably just discuss things. And you guys call yourself a family? It reminds me of the Ninja Turtles movie where Casey Jones says towards the end, you know, that one of the Foot Clan soldiers says, "We're a family." And then he says, "You call this here and that down there a family?" He says, "We have a loyalty to the Shredder." You know how many foot soldiers there are out there? A bunch of imbeciles following other imbeciles. You know how many? There's a ton of them. Don't be one of them because they're living a life of stress. The drama princes and princesses. It's all about senseless arguing and drama. It's a circus of clowns, of freaks. Don't participate because you're only dumbing yourself down. It may be funny at first, but it gets old very fast. You start to wonder, wait a minute, you guys do this like all of your life? It's no longer cool anymore, is it? Alright. Only immature, scared, and angry people are unable to share their genuine feelings with others, as I mentioned before, because they only care about themselves. Little do they know that by holding everything inside, they are only destroying themselves. That's why I always call them the Tasmanian devils, spinning themselves mindlessly around and around until they bump into a wall and fall on the ground. That's what the trolls and negative people always do. They only dig their graves deeper and deeper, all by themselves. You can just sit back and relax. They always do it. Every single person out there who's ever tried to attack me online or others, they always end up digging themselves like a hole that's so deep. It's like, man, I don't think you're drilling for oil anymore. I think you're trying to reach like the Earth's core here. If there is one. Studies have shown that simply talking about our problems and sharing our negative emotions with someone, I suggest a life coach, we can trust can be profoundly healing, reducing stress, strengthening our immune system, and reducing physical and emotional distress. Precisely. So those of you who are too scared to speak to someone such as yours truly, that's your problem. You're causing yourself stress. You see, you think it's not an action. It is an action. The action of remaining quiet, it's an action. Choosing to remain silent and not share your emotions with others. Doesn't have to be me. But please, go seek help from anybody. Whether it's a family member, friend, I always tell people, if not from me, then please from somebody else. Because you're only doing it to yourself by not being open. And please, for people out there who are in a relationship or are seeking a relationship, a serious one, or trying to improve their relationship, if your partner's quiet all the time, it's a huge red flag, bigger than the Chinese red flag. But with no gold. I mean, we're talking about the worst case scenario. Silence is weakness. And also, the people who are the most dangerous in this world, like they go completely psychotic, are the quiet ones. Trust me. Because then they try to promote, oh, the wise people are people of few words. No, those are the psychos. A man of few words is a complete psycho, potential psychopath, or sociopath. I don't trust silent people, and neither should you. Because humans were meant to express ourselves. Are you going to go tell a bird to stop chirping and say, hey, bird, if you stop chirping, I'm going to see you as a wise guy. You know what I mean? Because, you're quiet, and you only chirp when you think you have to, and everybody loves that chirp, that rare chirp that you do. No! Birds chirp all the time. Shut up with that nonsense. Imagine trying to teach that to an animal. Hey dog, stop barking so much, and I'm gonna call you wise because you're a dog of few wolves. A wolves. Hey, little duck. You're such a wise duck because you know what? You're a duck of few quacks. Okay, let me control myself here. A little bit of comedic relief. It's so stupid. They think it works with humans. Like, no. Because, I'll give you this quote, right? They think they're smart. Like, it's better to be thought of as a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. This applies to the quiet ones. That's why they keep their mouths shut, because they have nothing productive to say. They don't have anything of substance. And that's the problem. And then they try to act cool. They spend their whole life acting cool, a man of few words. That means a man who has barely anything to offer anyone, even themselves, because you're supposed to be extremely expressive. That's why dancing exists. That's why singing exists. That's why conversations exist. That's what makes us feel alive. Anyways, let's go ahead and proceed. Stress comes from every angle in this crazy life we were all born into. What matters is doing your best to heavily reduce, or better yet, eliminate stress from your life. You can. As well as help your loved ones eliminate theirs. I mean, if you really care about them. I mean, the word love is really strong. If you really do have loved ones, I would hope that you actually care for their levels of stress as well. Don't cause them stress. And they shouldn't cause you stress. It's a two-way street. So there's the top causes of stress right there. Finances and bills, work, no time to meet commitments, family, children, romantic relationship. I can help you with that. But unfortunately, it is one big cause. It can be one big cause if you allow it to. Chronic illness or injury, PTSD from a traumatic event, friends, or other. You got to wonder what the other is. But yeah, in the romance department, we're going to look at it. I think there's another. Here we go. This is the one. You know, as a life coach, I'm here to help you reduce or eliminate stress, especially from your personal relationships. Of course, with the priority being your lifelong relationship if you wish to succeed in reaching a perfect soulmate's level, that is. 64% is what this statistic shows. I mean, you got to take statistics with a grain of salt. It's probably much higher than that. I mean, these things fluctuate all the time. So this is just like a glimpse, a 1 second glimpse into a possibility. Responsibilities, physical health, traumatic experience, so work and commitments, yeah. So you see, if you have a stressful job, you better change it. Oh, but I'm making so much money. I mean, you got to make a decision. Quality of life? Money over quality of life? Sure, you can afford to buy things and live a more comforting life, if you will, a comfortable life. But how long is that going to last? And will it really be worth it? Having to endure so much stress? Literally taking years off of your life, because that's what stress does? I hope it's worth it, but I personally wouldn't do it. Sure, you have to endure some stress going into any job, some more than others, obviously, but if it's that bad, your main source of stress, or one of your top 3, yeah, that's in your hands. And there's a self-confidence. That's why people don't change their careers to a better one, a less stressful one, because they lack self-confidence. And there's a career prospects for universities. So those top 3 are all together as one. And self-confidence has to do with your personal relationships, because you don't have the confidence in order to ask your partner to help you make changes for the better. That's why cheaters cheat, because they're cowards. They don't want to try to talk to their partner and make things better, or they don't want to do the honorable thing if it's a lost, it's just a lost relationship. They don't want to just exit stage left. They have to just cheat while they're still in one. So, if it's in a hopeless relationship. All right. So, let's go ahead and talk about yours truly as an option. Like I said, you don't want my help, you don't have to accept it. But this is what I'm going to introduce you to right here. You can live your best life if you hire a coach. I work for free. You would be hard-pressed to find a life coach offering free consultation online. I haven't seen one, and I tried looking. At the present moment, I do not charge for spending an hour or more with you. I've even spent 5 hours with some person who ended up being a loser in the end because he said some bad things about me, and I'm like, oh, that's an ungrateful guy. So yes, I think 1 hour, and then I'll get to assess where we're at. Hopefully you're a good person, but if not, yeah, my discretion. Not going to sacrifice my own mental health over somebody who doesn't appreciate it for free. Hours of my life, my precious moments. So on Discord server, I have a Discord server. It's in my 13 links on my main page. All you have to do is go to the very top of the channel page and it says more links in bold black. You can't even miss it. So the link could be found there on my main channel page. But here you go. You can pause this if you want. Because I wish I had a life coach when I was growing up. You could say that they're not needed, but no. I've always looked at the word mentor and chaperone when I was a young kid. That would have been awesome. Especially a coach who's offering free services. That's like a legal consultant. Offering pro bono. A defense attorney, if you will. A lawyer, for those of you who use that word. You know, that's just, of course, you'd go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over it. You'd be like, what do you mean? Free, like, when you get arrested, you have a right to a lawyer if you cannot afford one, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about somebody who actually really does care about your case. We're not talking about the law here, but your case as far as your life is concerned. No, I don't think you will find somebody out there who's offering free advice. Go ahead. I challenge everybody out there. Go find somebody who's dedicating their life to being a life coach, specializing in relationships, who's offering you free consultation. Absolutely free. Who actually is passionate about it too. Good luck. So here we go. Coaching increases productivity, improve performance at work. Yeah, just feel good, right? What do good mothers and fathers do? They make their children feel, they spoil them. But they also teach them wisdom and intelligence, how to be wise and intelligent. They don't just let the schools teach them. And then they always ask, what did you learn in school? And they always ask, how are you feeling? How do you feel about life? What are your thoughts? What are your emotions? That's a good parent. There's not too many of them. In the future, I will charge those who seek my advice. But for now, I want to remain in the proving grounds until enough people realize just how beneficial it is to be coached by someone with great wisdom and passion. Yes, I have enough confidence to say that for a very long time. It's just, decisions. Take it or leave it, right? Improve communication skills, better relationships. There you go. I can promise that number 73 will jump up to 100% if you give me enough time. Unless it's just not fixable. Because it's far too gone, the point of no return, then nobody can fix such a situation. But I highly doubt that it's in that situation if you actually have the guts to ask somebody for help. Better work-life balance? Satisfied. Okay. So don't be shy, because if you are truly serious about heavily reducing and eventually completely eliminating all forms of stress from your life, then you would gladly and promptly take my free consultation very soon. That's just the truth right there. But if you're not serious and you enjoy living a stressful life and you don't want to ask me for help, I hope you ask somebody else for help. But if you don't, you're only doing it to yourself. If you're in that category, or if you're in a mediocre relationship, you're just not too happy with it, I'll give you creative ways to spice it up. It's different from going to read an article or going to watch a documentary or whatnot. I mean, I do offer my own documentary-like movie, which is a 1-hour video course with 10 chapters. But, that's like the fast food route, if you will. The fast lane. That's why I wrote a book that took me over 800 hours to write. And it's unique. It's original. There's no other book like my book. That's just a fact. Number one, nobody writes like that. Number two, nobody has the flow like I have in that book. I challenge my book against any book on relationships. I really do. Over 120 topics solidly covered. I haven't had any problems with anybody with my movie or book. There's just nothing but just gratefulness and online coaching in my Discord server. Yeah, it's only going to get better, because that's what I'm going to have to charge in the future, because then I won't have that many hours to spend with people. So take advantage now in the beginning stages. 99% are satisfied with the overall experience. Yeah, I guarantee 100%. All right. Have to mention all this because if you're so stressed out right now in your life, I'm genuinely asking you to connect with me. If you don't want to do that, then I just honestly don't believe that you're serious enough about improving your life. I think you're being passive, you're being naive, you're letting yourself down and those who you claim to love down. If not me, somebody else. Go ask somebody else for help. Don't fight it alone. Talking to each other, helping each other with advice, in my case, free advice. That's the most humane thing you can do in this life is help others, especially for free. Now, I do sell my book and my movie, but that's because I spent so much time on those are products. They'll greatly help you if you don't want to spend the hours with me one-on-one. You see how that works? Because if I gave everything for free, then I wouldn't have a life to live. Everybody has to pay bills, right? But I'm not here just about the money. Oh, because I would ask you for, let's see, $100 for an hour. What is that? That's crazy. A lot of people do actually. Consultants, advisors, everything. So, but if you think it's worth it, then go ahead. But I can tell you this. The odds of coming out of that with something life-changing, it's going to be way lower than 99%. And then what's worse is you actually paid for it. So I don't sell my time, at least not yet, because I only if I'm forced to. I'll say that. If I have so many people who want to speak with me, then yes, now I have to charge. I'm gonna just charge a small fee. I would never go too high, especially these days. Everybody has bills to pay. It's funny. I have to say this because I have quickly found out that those who desperately need my help are those that sadly choose to resent me simply because they fear sharing their offline misery with someone they know can greatly help them. I have to say that. The haters and trolls out there. And they will say it out loud because that's how proud they are of being miserable and how proud they are of being losers. So don't be one of those people. Don't hate me. Right? Just because I'm offering you help. How inhumane is that? If somebody offered you a free pizza or $100 on the street, would you insult them and hate them? Or would you say, hey, thanks, man. Hey, that's really nice of you. I would hope you do the second, the latter. Be appreciative. Anyways, let me go ahead and check the chat, see if there's any sign of intelligent life out there before I close this. People have really lost their ways these days, unfortunately. It's hard to find, genuinely happy people and caring people out there. Yeah, okay. So, no comments or questions in the chat mainly. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out. And thank you so much for watching post-stream. There you go. Solutions everywhere if you choose to find them. Hopefully I'll be a part of your solution. But if not, I wish you the best. And hopefully one day you'll offer your knowledge, expertise, wisdom, and intelligence to others to benefit from. Because that's all part of being human. Thanks for watching, everybody. And until next time, much love.